So, what's up, guys? I'm Aman, and this is the second episode of the Bongshot podcast. And today we have the last two guys. Ratz is here, Udit is here, but we have a new friend also joining us, which is Arsh. Arsh has, for those of you who don't know, Arsh has been working in the gaming scene for some time now. He is currently working with Steve's dad, one of the biggest Facebook gaming streamers from India. And he's been come to he's gone out with us in
So
Gamer Connect and other things.
yeah. So basically, my biggest achievement is editing PUBG Mobile videos. You're saying?
The
Oh, it's
biggest
fine.
achievement is meeting me. So it's fine.
Marxism.
That's quite big.
It is
You
quite
should
big.
feel
yeah.
better about it.
Feel
Yeah.
good, man.
Yeah. So let's start with something that's not gaming, something that's more related to pop culture. But I think everyone has heard the news, which is Black Panther's actor Chadwick Boseman has passed away of colon cancer, and it came out completely like out of nowhere because no one knew about it, right? So, and I think the best person to talk about this is our movie enthusiast Udit. So please.
Yeah, Aman. So Chadwick Boseman is somebody who I had admired for a long time. I mean, Black Panther was not the first movie I saw him in. I saw him in this movie called 42, where he played Jackie Robinson. And Jackie Robinson happened to be the first black baseball player, as far as I remember, who played for the Dodgers. And he was a legend in his own right. What a coincidence that happens to be, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, August 28th happened to be Jackie Robinson Day. And I think that is the day he was reported to be dead. So, yeah, this was a bummer, man. Like, because we realized not even the people at Marvel knew this. And we heard that he was suffering from cancer for 4 years, stage 4 colon cancer for 4 years. And so this was probably he was diagnosed in 2016, which is when he was already shooting for Civil War. So not only was he diagnosed at stage 4 cancer, he was shooting Civil War, then he shot Black Panther, then he shot Infinity War and Endgame back to back, all big budget action movie. Then he did 21 Bridges Together. That level of commitment at that phase. And he's not a young guy. He looks like he's in his late 20s.
Yeah, but he is 40.
43. Doesn't
Yeah.
look like it. Looks in great shape. The thing was, and I guess everybody has seen this interview where he talks about what Black Panther meant to other people, right? And he talks about these two kids who were suffering from cancer and they were looking forward to the movie, and he almost broke down. Even that in retrospect makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
But even then, he never really disclosed. He never made it about himself. And that's the thing. The reason, for me, Chadwick Boseman always seemed like a person who was working towards a legacy. So he has been in TV for a long time. He has done CSI. Everybody has done CSI. He has done Law and Order. He has been in a lot of TV series. But his movie career started around 2012 with 42. Then he went on to play historical figures. He went on to play all the legends that black people, kind of look up to. He played James Brown, a musician. Then he acted as Marshall. Marshall, if you guys don't know, is based on that movie is based on an earlier trial in where he works as a lawyer and goes to a conservative Connecticut to defend a black chauffeur who got charged with sexual assault for attempted murder on some white person. And it was really, the movie is all right, but his performance in all of them were committed. He never half-assed that. And you can tell he exudes the persona of somebody who's a leader. It was never about himself. He always wanted to leave a legacy. Even his recent movie on Netflix, which I call The Five Bloods, which is a take on black people fighting the war in Vietnam and them coming back to just face more racism and segregation, and ties directly into Black Lives Matter. By the way, if people still have concerns over Black Lives Matter, I would just recommend follow Chadwick Boseman's entire filmography. This is all he was about. Even till the last breath. So you can tell this guy was the right choice for Black Panther. This is the persona that he exudes. And we might not appreciate it, but that character means so much to so many people. right? It's a legendary figure in itself. I read a biography of Bob Iger, who was the former CEO of Disney. He was the one who was behind the merger of. He was the one who was behind the acquisition of Pixar, of Star Wars, etc. And he talks about the struggles that he had to go through to get Black Panther made. And despite all that, he calls the making of Black Panther his biggest, most proud achievement, because it was the first time where you could see there was no a big budget multi-million, not multi-million, $100 million production, complete with a fully black cast, both on set and behind set, and tackling really, really, really important issues for from a superhero genre, that too. So that was a landmark thing. And yeah, this guy, man, to even think that even till the end, despite knowing that I think there's one interview where he says that he probably might not be able to make Black Panther 2, and people thought that it was because he was getting tired of the thing. That in context was like he knew that he knew his own mortality, right? But even till then, he did things to leave behind a legacy, to and he portrayed characters that were legendary in their own right. And in doing so, I believe he has become as big a legend as all the characters he has portrayed. And biopics will be written about him. He has given a lot of people hope, and a lot of children are gonna grow up, saying Wakanda forever. A lot of people. He's immortalized, and yeah, man,
I
I
mean,
miss him.
as soon as Chadwick Boseman passed away, I saw obviously there were a lot of people praising him, and a lot of people were shocked because obviously none of us knew that he was suffering from late stage 4 cancer and stuff like that. But there were a few people I also saw who said, like, Black Panther was just an average film. And I just want to touch on that topic. For a lot of us from outside the black community, it does seem like an average film, and I can understand. But for people, I think the best example would be, imagine if something like Black Panther was made, but for Indians, right? I think that's the kind of
Exactly.
effect that Black Panther had on the black community, because black, like the Africa and the black community in general have always been exploited, similar to how Indians have been exploited and how the Indian subcontinent has been exploited for the last 200 years or so, similar to in the Indian subcontinent and stuff. But I think the fact that when they made Black Panther and you could see a lot of children going out and doing Wakanda forever and seeing, what an utopia of a black community would look like, is itself a big achievement, right?
And they never shied. And it was not like a cash grab where they wanted to cash in on a certain community. They talked about the differences between growing up as an African American versus a black person growing up in America. And that was the central conflict of the whole thing.
Yes.
That had a lot of effect. People are, again, we might not relate with it, but this means a lot to a lot of people, and you're seeing that now. And Chadwick Boseman was at the front of it, right?
Yeah.
Endgame is gonna feel very weird now when when Black Panther is the first guy coming out of that ring. I'm like, I'm gonna choke up. I don't know.
Yeah. So, Arsh, what are your thoughts on this? I know
So,
you're also a film enthusiast.
in my case, I haven't seen any of his movies before Black Panther, and I
Right.
guess understandable because I don't really watch that many movies. I'm always around sci-fi, and maybe because I couldn't really relate to lots of things that he made movies about. But when Black Panther came out, this is a movie I was going to watch. I knew I was going to watch, and I did go and watched it. So I think for me, I wouldn't call it an average movie at all. And first of thing, I think it was a big thing for me as well that it's a full on black cast. There are not many white actors, and it was a big thing. For me at least, because I think it's a very nice thing that we're seeing these things out there. And now then Udit is telling me that he has made so many of these movies where he's just that there is a central thing to it, right? And the Black Panther, for me, Chadwick Boseman was just Black Panther. Okay, for me, he didn't do any other movies, and I think that was enough to say, because I don't even know the names of the actors who play movies. Sometimes I like the movie, but I don't even bother to Google the name. It's done, right? But in this case, I knew this guy's name, and for me, it's a big thing because I don't remember any of the actors' names at all. I'm that kind of guy, right? If I seen too many movies, obviously I'm gonna know the names. And I think his role was real nice, and it did kind of I won't say I was very bummed about it, but yeah, it is a pinch that is going to I'm going to
Yeah,
feel again and again every time I watch Marvel movies, and it is going to affect me. Maybe not as much as Udit, because I can clearly tell that he's this guy's big fan, right? I won't say I'm not his fan, because I really loved his roles and all, and but I really think that he was a great actor. I don't think
yeah,
Black Panther is an average movie at all, and he did leave a nice legacy.
By the way, if you guys do want more of Chadwick Boseman, there are two things that he's done posthumously that are still not released yet. There is one What If of Marvel
oh yeah,
that,
they're putting out the series, right?
yes, he has given voice for Black Panther in that, where they do the story where instead of Star Lord, it's Black Panther who gets kidnapped and goes to space, and Black Panther becomes Star Lord. So you're gonna see him there one more time, one last time as Black Panther.
So is this
Uh,
an animated series because you say
I
voice?
think it's animated, yes, but he gave the
Yeah.
voice, so it's bittersweet in a way. And there's another movie he works that's called Marini's Black Bottom, which he's doing with Viola Davis. That is also another one that people who are fans of Chadwick Boseman, they have that to look forward to.
Yeah.
So we still have some left from him.
I just want to say the one scene that I will never forget from Black Panther is that scene when Killmonger goes into that museum and he says, you guys stole all of this from us, right? I think that really struck a chord because I think Indians can probably relate with everything the British Empire has done in India, right? It's very like similar, and even though I'm not black, obviously, um, there were a lot of scenes in the movie that did resonate. Um, Specifically, I was really excited to see something like a Wakanda, right? And what would a utopia of a community look like if they were not
Not
exploited, right?
true that.
And these are topics that I think were very unique topics in general that Black Panther tackles that I don't remember other movies tackling as well, right? I am sure there are movies that have tackled similar stories, but I don't think movies have tackled it in a similar nuanced and nice
Or
way.
so widely accessible in such a,
It's
like,
so
it's a
widely
Disney
accessible,
Marvel
Yeah.
movie, right?
so mainstream, so nice.
Right.
So I think, yeah, for that very reason, I think he has probably set his legacy on stone already before he passed away. Very sad. Very cool guy. Obviously, we didn't know him in person, but whatever we saw him in screen, in interviews, I did follow quite a few of his interviews after Black Panther, after Endgame and stuff. He was definitely one of my top superheroes in the MCU, in MCU. So yeah, gonna miss him. Gonna seem weird when the next phase of
You know,
Marvel opens up. I wonder what they do with
so
the character. Yeah.
there is one thing I want to add. Now I try to imagine, it must be, I don't know what kind of courage it must take to still keep on shooting movies when you might not live on, and maybe that really pushed him to leave a legacy, right? Because he knew these movies were going to stay out there in the history, and he was part of it, right? And he did leave a legacy till the end of it, right?
Yeah.
And I really think it's such a great thing, but it must be very painful at the same time. So I think I really have found some new respect for him in that regard, because that is hard. I can't possibly imagine how hard it
Yeah,
must be.
I think one of the most important thing I have to say here is that while he did the stories and did the legacies, he repeatedly anyone who's watching this can go back and see his interviews. He repeatedly said he did the movies for the black community and not for himself, right? He wanted to empower the black community and the black people in America and everywhere in the world, and I think that was his end goal from the beginning, right? When starting the role of Black Panther, and even after Black Panther released, he repeatedly said, Killmonger is not a villain. Something that I kept looking up, even past last 2 days, is that he said, he's just two sides of the same coin, and it just gives you a thought of how he thought of things, how he thought of society, and what he wanted to build as an art form and everything, right? Let's talk about something that is related to the podcast mainly, which is games.
Here's your head at her, man.
Okay. Games. What do we talk about first? The games that we have seen or the games that we are playing right now?
I think go on with what we've played right now, then move on to what we're
Yeah.
excited for.
So, Arsh, you don't play a lot of games. Tell
So
us.
I don't actually now, and I don't play many games at all.
So keep
So
it short. 20
I've been
words or
only
less.
okay. So so Horizon Zero Dawn. I think we all talked about it, so there's nothing to talk about. I did
Yeah.
get to try
I
Spiritfarer.
finally finished base game of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Nah, I have not. I'm grinding it like
Sad.
I'm just
Okay.
very slow at it. Okay, Aman, I don't have as much time as
I
you, so
I want
I
I
did
want
I did start Spiritfarer, by the way.
uh, how do you
So
like it?
I think it's a very nice. I mean, it's a very nice looking game. First of all, you just
Yeah,
the game starts just like a comic book moving. I think it's hand drawn, right? You said that it's hand
something
drawn,
like that.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and there's a very nice, very calming story to it. So I think it's a game that everyone should try. I haven't really played a lot of it. I played it for like 1 hour, and then after that, I moved to Horizon Zero Dawn. So it's a game that I play. I'm planning to play every night because it's a really calming game. And apart from this, I'm actually more of looking towards the games that are going to come up.
To the
By the way,
audience, all right.
I'm going
Horizon,
to play these two games, obviously, right? But at this point, I don't. And there are not many games that I really want to play. I mean, there are multiplayer games, right? But I'm not really talking about that. But I'm looking forward to some games that are coming. Maybe multiplayer, maybe single player. But yeah, there are some.
You're looking forward to New World, correct?
what is the news?
I So the
New
thing is,
World is okay. I'll go
I
ahead.
am. I am. I even was
Yeah.
offered the beta key. The beta is still going on right now, but I refused
Just
it
try it
because
out. Just try it out
I
and let
no I'll try that next beta. So the thing is, I already saw some videos, so I'm not really impressed. I don't want to
Okay.
waste my
Yeah.
time yet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
I had
but
similar ideas about the game.
I really want it to be a thing. Okay, I really want a very nice MMO by a studio like Amazon, and where they can actually do some things right. How they presented it, I want it to be like how they presented it, but it's not going to be like that. I mean, so
So,
far it's not looking like
so
that.
I'll just give Udit some perspective. The MMORPG market is not very alive, right? We are not getting a lot of good MMOs. Mostly the MMOs are coming out in the last 5 years or so have been MMOs that have been coming out of the Chinese or the Korean market, right? And most of these MMOs are pay to win or very grindy. They're not well. They're not something that will compete with World of Warcraft, to put it mildly, right? And Amazon is putting out Amazon recently. They bought a lot of studios. They did a lot of things,
I think
and
I heard of this. Yeah.
yeah, this is the latest foray into gaming. The last foray into gaming was very bad, actually,
I
where
remember.
they released something called Crucible. I was following the game. I was not impressed because it did not seem like my kind of game, and they unreleased it. Then they went into closed beta post-release, so you can understand where this game is at. That game was at. It was not good. It was definitely not taken well by the audience. And New World seems kind of in the middle ground. It looks like a very average MMO for the moment. It
It's
looks like it
below
wants to
average.
do. Yeah, it looks like it wants to do a very interesting thing, but the kind of money that Amazon has, it does not look like
Yeah.
something. It does not look like
Mhm.
when you. I think I can understand when Ursh says this, because when Amazon said they were making games, we expected, holy shit, they're gonna just push in money. They're gonna take the industry by storm. They're gonna just trample over everything else. Nah, they seemed like a tiny little chihuahua coming into the market and getting trampled over. In fact, so yeah, doesn't look very interesting. Looks very generic. Like the art style also, like it looks okay, but it looks like it's dated. It looks like it's at least 8 years too late, right?
Uh,
So
okay,
yeah,
I want to add something. So the thing is, when they announced something like New World, right? They really did a good job at it, I think. When I saw some of the
the
videos,
announcements.
because
That's because
yeah,
it was on the
yeah.
marketing.
I mean, so when it was coming from Amazon, that was the thing. It was coming from Amazon, so there was that possibility it could be true. We could
Yeah,
have an MMO which would have servers everywhere and possibly be a good MMO, right?
yeah,
And it looked like that in the videos. There was a story to it, right? There was a nice story to it. They tried to create a lore which was very different about the new world, but I mean, it was kind of cliche. I won't say it was very unique. Like we have already seen, there was this game came out, and I already forgot the name, where they find a new island, but it turns out to be an old island. And New World was a
Greedfall.
what?
Talking about Greedfall, correct?
Yeah, Greedfall, right? I
Greedfall.
played it. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
So I mean, that is one of the cliche that is becoming in RPG games, and they were trying to put it in MMO, but it was fine, right? There was some original concepts to it, but what I was really looking forward that there would be properly functioning. There would be, this would be a good MMO. That's what I was hoping for.
I was
So
honestly expecting a next gen MMO. I was expecting
yeah,
not a
same.
World of Warcraft clone. And this looks like an exact World of Warcraft clone, but worse.
Yeah,
And
but
World of
worse.
Warcraft came out in 2004, so that's probably not something you should
So
like.
what I was most excited about is that it is 2020. MMO coming in 2020, it is going to be, have some real good graphics, real good gameplay, physics, and stuff like that. It could be, it could be something very different, and yet, but now it's disappointing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
has
I
nothing
think
more than it is
Also,
nothing
like,
more than what's already there.
also if you think about it, right, MMOs, you would want to optimize an MMO game because you're gonna have a lot of players in a single place, right? So if you put those, high as if you put like you get that graphical detail to the max, right? People are going to need to have like a really good system in order to play it, and that itself is going to shatter that MMO's initial player base, because you don't want to keep it to just that elitist community. You want to make it very optimized so that everyone can play it, right? One of the reasons why World of Warcraft is still popular and a lot of people are playing it is because you don't need like a high-end system to play the game at like the normal 60 FPS, right? Even if you have like your systems, I think your maybe your previous generation cards by like 2 generations, you can still play World of Warcraft. They give you that option, so you got to keep that in mind as an MMO as well. So that's
No,
why I
I
think
did.
yeah, so that's why I think like in 2020 an MMO coming out in 2020 is it's a bit of a risky jump, right? You want to make sure that you're giving a good graphical quality, but at the same time you don't want to tax the end user system, right? I think Final Fantasy 14 did a good job with that because they've got like really good graphics, but it's not
Final
very
Fantasy
taxing to your
14
system.
Udit.
Yeah.
Udit,
Yeah,
you're
what-
on that list.
Yeah,
Final Fantasy.
he was good. He was on the right track. Rats, continue.
Yeah, like that's how it is, right? Like,
Yeah.
so see, right now, if you look at the MMO game, I think the top 2 MMOs right now competing against each other is Final Fantasy 14 and World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft with its new expansion coming out soon, which I am super
And
excited
Elder
for.
Scrolls Online.
Oh, Elder
And-
Scrolls. Oh, yes, I forgot about Elder Scrolls Online
Yeah.
as well, which has its own like
Right.
unique lore as well. But all of these MMORPGs, there's one thing in common with all of them. Like, you cannot, without this one element, MMOs would just be like, it wouldn't be an MMO, and that is grinding, right? You
Right.
need to grind your resources, the gold, to buy your equipment, all that for the end game, the late game. That grind, like it for some people it becomes tedious, like maybe like I know Arsh pretty well. I know he wouldn't take that grind unless it's enjoyable, right? He won't grind just randomly. Like Aman, I know he'll grind, like World of Warcraft, he'll grind till he gets to his point and he's gonna stop. Udit, I have no idea, right? I have no idea, but but a person like
To add to Rats's point, though, Final Fantasy 14 is a very good case study of what he's trying to say. Because 14, A Realm Reborn, is a different version of the game. What started as first as Final Fantasy 14 was exactly what people wanted from a next gen game at that time, right? Super high graphics, super detailed everything, right? What happened was that the game crashed. It wasn't running anything. Like, a lot of people logged in, nobody was able to play. They had to revamp the game from the ground up, which they built into the lore. They destroyed that world and they created a new one, which is called A Realm Reborn, where they actually were like, holy shit, we need this game to actually be working on on a general platform, right? So that is a huge issue with MMORPGs. You want that next gen, at the same time you have to cater to your major audience and have them working optimized, have that optimized gameplay of, right, what concurrent players of what, how many, 10,000, even if it's 10,000 itself at the starting.
Smallest.
Huh? Yeah,
No,
even
no.
if you're going for that, right, to have them all running in the same arena, right, without lag or without hitches, That's a huge challenge, and that's, I think, what MMORPGs have been struggling with.
I think I want to say something. I think, yeah, while you guys said valid topics, I think one of the biggest faults of Amazon and how they entered gaming is the fact that they thought they could push through with just money, and they fell flat on their face because of that. This is a very, yeah.
I think what Amazon could have done is they own Twitch, they literally own AWS. If they were gonna go head on to they could have posed a really good streaming challenge to Google Stadia and then push MMORPG using that. They have so many resources to tackle that, right? Because then that solves that obviously brings another issue of internet connectivity.
Yeah,
That's true.
the first thing
But
I think streaming isn't very like it's nowhere near stabilized yet anywhere in the
that's
world.
true.
Not
Now I'm
even
just saying, if they had to put a campaign of next gen, if they had to go all in, hypothetical scenario, considering they own AWS, considering they own Twitch, that is one way they could have worked around and gone pretty hammer. But they didn't do anything anyway. So what am I saying?
Yeah.
My point with why a New World and why Crucible failed is because Amazon basically came in with the intention that we want to make money out of this game industry and not we want to make games. I think that was the biggest problem with how the culture and vision of Amazon. I think that's very visible when you see their games. Their games never like while their games both the New World both a New World and Crucible seems like something we have seen before, and seems like just a better copy of something we've seen before.
Yeah,
Even
better copy. Yeah, that's
even though
actually a nice
that's,
term.
that's how they went about the entire industry till now, right? And that's where I want to bring in, I want to tie in what's happening in India. But I want to say I think that's one of the main reasons they failed, not because of their limitations to engine or anything else. I think it's the creative vision and how they went about the creative vision. I think they entered the market with a thought process that they wanted to make money instead of make games that are actually fun, and that entire philosophy kind of hit them in the face later on, and kind of why. And this is one of the reasons why I think if companies like Reliance or in India go into gaming, like how recently Prime Minister Modi has said, Indian devs, India should also be making games like based on Indian mythology and coming out of India, making India and stuff. I think that's one of the biggest. Like if you see all of these big companies go into gaming, I think that's the same hurdle these companies will also face. Like let's look at some of the companies that can actually go into gaming, right, with the money they have, which is one of the biggest people we have is Reliance. I don't think their initial foray into gaming will be good, but at least not the AAA kind of gaming, right? Because I don't think their vision will be correct to begin with. Looking at whatever is happening in the world right now, looking at whatever is happening in Amazon, everything. So yeah, that's my take into the whole
So
issue.
I guess they sold an idea of a next gen MMORPG. They did sell it well, but they just couldn't make it, and they are failing it at it again and again. The beta keeps on getting worse and worse. Less and less people are participating in it.
It's
Yeah,
Right? How does it
It's
get worse?
bad.
yeah,
Because people play it once, they're like, okay. Second time, no, this is not really going anywhere. And third time, they don't participate, right? And they've been doing betas since forever, and it's getting nowhere.
yeah.
There's no news
Yeah,
about
for
what's
almost
going on.
1.5 years, right?
Yeah, maybe more, because I have seen some videos from like quite old videos when the first of the betas came, and then now people are not participating as much. People have already lost interest in it. Where I'm waiting for it, okay, it might just be something, right?
Yeah,
Because I
I had
really
zero
want
expectation.
it to be something, but it's turning out to be, another disappointment.
Yeah.
And you said a better looking copy. It looked better only when Amazon sold the idea. It doesn't look better when it's actually
In the
running.
final
So
product, yeah.
yeah, so what's the point really?
I mean, it's
Why?
kind of like what it's like Ubisoft's Watch Dogs showcased at E3, and then the final game comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know isn't supposed to look as good as the finished product, right? But it should have the
But
same element.
not in the case of MMOs. I will point to you. In MMOs, every beta looks exactly the same as the game. In
Yeah.
MMOs, the concept of a beta is to actually change the mechanics
Yeah, it's
and
more focused on the mechanics rather than the graphics.
tweaking
yeah.
the
So
numbers here and there.
The
So yeah,
idea was nice, but the game is not so far.
yeah. So let's move on. Udit, what are you playing?
Me? Do visual novels on mobile count?
Wait,
Yeah,
that
sure. Whatever.
which visual novel
It's so
though?
judged for this. I have not had any time to play anything, so occasionally on days when I get 5 minutes out, I pull out this game called Liar, and please be open-minded about this. So it is a take on the Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney games
Okay,
gameplay,
nice.
right? Which is about finding clues and busting out people, right? But the context here is done more towards targeting the female audience, where it is a case where there are three modes actually. There's one in university, there is one that's office, and there's one which is basically a romance thing, where you're trying to get you're trying to find the best person among 10 people, and 9 of them are liars, right? And it's a huge arc about finding clues and find out who is a liar. I'm already being judged. See, trust me, it's really, really good.
I love the concept. It sounds very interesting.
Right.
Actually.
So the say whatever you want about these things, man. The writers really, really, really do well. And most of the criticism that most people have with games like this is because the main character in most of these games is like your template bland woman, right? The actual thing, Aman, stop laughing, I can see you. The actual woman in this is this sassy, foul-mouthed woman, which is really, really interesting. But the more interesting part is actually the office scenario, because the characters that you meet, the liars you meet, are caricatures, but they do feel like characters you've met in office. They do feel like they have these traits of certain people you worked with. And if you play, I'm sure Aman, Ratz, Arsh, you can see like, I know a guy like that. I know a scumbag like this. I know this guy's up to no good. So yeah, I'm having fun with that, and I'm not ashamed of saying it. All right, judge me.
No, I'm not judging you, but I want to just say, like, you said writers do phenomenal work. I imagine writers do phenomenal work. They can't put any mechanics into a mobile game.
It's your basic Phoenix Wright mechanic, search clues and find the right dialogue to, exact dialogue where
Get the
things don't
best
match up with the
ending.
clue and throw that at it.
Yeah.
One thing drawback is it has your typical mobile game paid, you need to get those tickets, right, which cost a lot, and that can get obnoxious at times. Thankfully, it recharges every day, so I've been playing it for like 180 days so far.
That's nice.
Okay,
That's
you've been playing it for a while then.
Yeah.
Quite a while.
Quite a while.
180 days. Is it enough
Half
to
a year. That's probably starting off the pandemic. Anyway,
for sure?
Rats.
Yeah, no. See, while we're still speaking.
Except Osu, what are you playing?
Okay, I know. See, I'll tell you. Okay, that's the wrong game to choose because I play GTA 5 roleplay like a lot because it's different characters.
GTA 5 roleplay and Osu, what are you playing?
All right, so I played my first game of Among Us. I have been talking
Oh,
to
okay.
everybody about it, and it's actually a really fun game. So the concept of the game is very simple. There are 10 crew members in space, and you have to do a set of tasks to get out of the planet. But amongst the 10 crew members that you got, 2 of them are imposters. So the imposters will have abilities to sabotage ongoing things here and there. They have to kill off the crew members one by one. So when you guys are playing, you all sit on Discord, mics muted, right? The moment a dead body is reported or an emergency meeting is called, you come out and you start playing the blame game, like who did you see where. Like it's crazy. Like it's actually one of the few games that's popping on Twitch right now. Like I opened up the Twitch categories and
This is Liar in Space.
yeah, pretty much.
I was about to say
It's pretty much liar
Liar.
in space. Yeah, like there are 40,000 people. Like there are,
You mean there are mechanics in this game?
I mean, yeah, it's like you gotta be very, very convincing. You gotta act your way out of it. Because I played a couple of games that I was imposter. Like the games where I won as an imposter, everybody else is an idiot. But the games where they caught, like they found out.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know this.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
It's an update, so
Uh,
sorry. Continue.
yeah, so like Among Us, it's actually a very fun game to play. If I think if the four of us plus six others, right? We just play Among Us. It's actually going to be really enjoyable because it's all about pointing fingers at the end of the day, right? It's like finding out who the imposter is, and sometimes you can get the wrong person too. So it's actually like it's actually super fun. Like I played it for like what 2 nights with a couple of friends, and I had like the most fun playing that.
Like it's more like Mafia that we used to play
Yeah.
when you sit around in a corner, right? But
Yeah,
as a
yes.
video game.
Yes.
I'm interested because I love games like this, and I especially love games like this where I'm the villain, and I have to
Yeah.
put that poker face on. It gets super fun and stressful,
Like
dude.
it is, yeah, it actually does, like, because I think in some of the games that I played there was like some imposters, right? They were like 1v6, right, in a group of 10 people. So like the imposter, like their buddy in crime gets taken out immediately, so they have to 1v6 and clutch it, and they do such a good job with that. Like it's actually good. It's very fun. It's fun to watch, and it's also fun to play.
I've been hearing about this game for a while, but since I've been busy with Fall Guys, I haven't had the
Yeah,
like.
I mean, I finally
You have
got
been busy.
I'm busy with
Aman
Fall
sir,
Guys.
he's busy with another game.
Yeah, that's how my life. I'm like playing
I
one
still
game.
I still
I
haven't
know,
played Fall
I know
Guys,
how
by
that
the
how
way.
life
Like
is.
I still haven't played Fall Guys. I think apart from that, I've just been trying like random indies here and there.
You
And
played Fall Guys, Udit?
No, I have not played Fall Guys yet, man. I
Arsh,
really
you
want
played Fall
to
Guys, right?
because I remember.
I did play at a bit, like one match maybe.
Okay.
I
Aman gifted
remember
me
in
Fall Guys though.
2018, I was like, I made a status craving, like, I really want a game that's basically Takeshi's Castle in Battle Royale. I did. I tweeted it out. Like now would be a good time for a Takeshi's Castle kind of game. Bonus points if Javed Jeffrey is there to comment it. I made that. This
I
game is
saw
right
it.
up my alley, dude. I just need to find a time for it.
yeah, it's
I-
it's just
I-
a time.
You know what would go viral? If we take one of the Fall Guys level and just take one of the voiceovers from Takeshi's Castle and put it
Javed
on
Jaffrey.
the video. Yeah, yeah.
Can we actually start a petition to have Javed Jaffrey voice over some
I
clips?
don't know if like they'll know, but like yeah. For me, I have been playing a lot of Wasteland 3. Wasteland 3 is a game you can play right now for 50 rupees through the Xbox Pass, right? It's absolutely amazing. I initially thought it was a game like XCOM or like tactical RPG kind of game, XCOM 2, even something like Divinity Original Sin. But this is very straightforward RPG, is what I can imagine. Like I can think of this. Actually, a lot of people told me this is what Fallout should have been, and I can understand because the dialogues and the world is basically Fallout, right? It's nuclear strikes happening, wasteland. That's why it's called Wasteland. Everything is dead. And the writing is so good because I would know because I've spent about 25 hours into the game already, and I have already restarted the game 3 times. If you have restarted the game 3 times in an RPG game, it's probably a good game. Just saying, right? um, Decisions matter. Gameplay is amazing. Gameplay is very much like XCOM. So XCOM
I love the graphics. Like I'm looking at the Steam store page at the screenshots, and I actually adore the graphics. Like for an isometric game, it feels it's just so cool to look at. Like it's like you take Commandos XCOM together and you get this game. Like in terms of the graphics, that is, right? It looks nice. I like it.
For me, the best part for me is the gore, right? There is so much gore, and they throw it on your face. They literally throw it on your face within the first 15 minutes to 1 hour. They like just throw gore at your face. Like there's a scene in the beginning of the game where you're talking to one guy, and it's one of those. You've played Fallout 4, right? All of you have played Fallout 4, right? Have you seen gameplay of Fallout 4?
I've seen
me.
gameplay.
I saw your video of Fallout 4 and I was like, no.
So in this game, like you remember when you talk to someone in the dialogue box and you can see their or Witcher 3 when you're talking to someone and their face is in front of you, and then you can select dialogues and stuff like that,
Yeah.
right? There is this scene in like within the first 30 minutes of this game where you're talking to someone, one of the evil guys, you're talking to him, and you choose points, and then suddenly you see his head blown straight off while he's talking.
Oh, okay, that's my kind of thing. And Aman froze in the weirdest Can we
My-
just have this frame for Aman?
Yeah. Also,
You
wait.
had a perfect
Also, yeah,
question,
Udit, before you continue, for all the audience who are watching, take snippets of every time Aman's camera just freezes, right? Just
I will
take the
actually edit
funniest.
it out.
The most
Yeah.
hilarious freezes. I think
I'll edit it out in the video. But like I was
Wow.
saying,
that's keep a copy of this.
I'll have a copy. Don't worry. I'll have a copy of
Okay.
this. Yeah, don't worry
uh,
about that.
the thing is, like in the first 30 minutes, his head gets blown off clean, and it's like it's not clean blown off, right? It's like half of like this, and the half part is gone, right? And there's just blood splattered all over the screen. And at
Okay.
that point, I'm like, yeah, this is definitely my kid.
I'm
I
I'm
won't-
doing a concern for the way Aman was excited explaining a gory scene. Like I'm doing
I
a
am.
concern.
I'm really excited. There's a similar scene in Baldur's Gate 3. If you guys want, I will talk about it. But yeah, that's not coming for some time. But the gore in the game is absolutely amazing. The gameplay reminds me more of Divinity Original Sin 2 rather than XCOM, which is also
I
nice.
checked out your stream. It did remind me of Divinity.
Yeah, it's very much like that. The gameplay is like that. There's a lot of this. Like it's fortunately less misses than XCOM. It's not like you'll get 80% hit chance and then you hit someone and then like it misses. No, it doesn't happen. Fortunately, so it's not exactly a tactical game, but very nice. It's I don't know what else to say because I'm still stuck at the first level because I restarted it 3 times. So yeah, that very nice game.
Okay,
Can we talk
so-
about the new game from India?
Yes,
Raji.
the new game from Kolkata.
But actually, from two people actually.
Yeah, Sonzai,
Sonzai,
not Raji.
not Raji.
Raji?
Raji came out. Raji is old news.
Oh God. Okay, I do not know about this.
Get with the times, Rats.
I'm sorry. I'm. What? What?
No, Rats, you're gonna love this.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Raji is coming 15th October. This is not about Raji. This is a game about. This is a game called Sonzai, which is a game that's been inspired from Devil May Cry and Persona, according to the developers. And the developers are 2 college kids from Kolkata, which is very interesting. And I have no idea how I don't know them, but I will stalk and find out who these people are. Probably we can invite them for a podcast. Who knows? But the game looks pretty good. I am pretty impressed with the art style.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the art style is so nice, very like actually fits the name like Sonzai. Right? It just fits that calm, chilling, like the Japanese kind of theme that it's got. I actually like it.
I think Sonzai means existence, so it's probably going for some existential thing. Somebody
Yeah.
can correct that. My Japanese isn't exactly great.
Also,
But-
in terms of the UI, right? It's very much like
Persona
Persona.
5.
Exactly, yeah.
It's straight up
Persona
Persona
5.
5.
Yeah, it's really good. And knowing that this was made by 2 indie devs from Kolkata, that is just absolutely like poggers. Like it's actually like really
Wow.
cool.
2 people may.
So
It looks
I
too
wanted
nice.
so I want to talk about this. So first thing is immediately apparent is the art style, right? And it's all hand painted. Every asset, everything is completely hand painted from scratch. And you can immediately notice that because it's not exactly smooth 60 frames per second, right? You have certain intervals between each keyframe. It kind of reminds. I really, really do dig that. A lot of gamers might not be into it, but it's like the time when Spider-Verse released, right? And everybody was like, wait, why is this so jittery? Why is this at 12 frames per second, whereas other normal animation is faster, right? But I really do dig that. And the UI straight up taking cues from the right source. If you want to make a stylish UI, you can do worse than taking inspiration from Persona 5. But it's not just skin deep in influence. That also plays into a lot of the gameplay loops. It's the progression that I've read is in calendar based, which is same as Persona Post 3, where the progression is mostly calendar based, and your side quests are done through social links, which is where you go to NPCs and you level them up based by following their storyline, and their storyline then they leveling up them then unlocks certain powers for you, which I think is where the DMC aspect comes, which will be related to how you unlock higher moves, etc. So all that is very interesting how they're going to unlock, because this is not the first game that I know that is trying to mix DMC and Persona 5. I think that just seems to be a really, really nice combo people are trying to do. Another thing that they're trying to do is explore. I think this is set in a Japanese town. There's
Yeah,
certain mysteries
Kumatoshi.
in,
Kuma-
yeah, Kumatoshi.
Kumatoshi, yeah.
Whatever mysteries might lie. My main worry here, and it's a slight concern, and I'm not even sure if this is what those guys are even worried about, is removing the phenomenal art style. When you do hear the word 2D action brawler, with that music in mind, that's a saturated market right there, right? And I'm not sure how much it could do to sell itself apart. Like when it came to Indian games, when it was Raji, immediately it hit the splash, right? Because it marketed itself as Raji and Ancient Epic, and everybody who saw it outside was like, yes, this is a world that is very unique. We have not seen this.
Yeah,
Uh,
Indian themes aren't common, but this is not going for an Indian theme.
yeah, this is not going for an Indian thing, which is and Japan especially, a lot of indie circle have been around the Japanese theme with that whole neon kind of look, and that is a pretty. Like, let's say if you're going for a Japanese setting, you have quite a lot of options to search for. Will Sonzai be enough? I think it will. The art style itself is enough, and I'm pretty sure there's a lot of depth to the design if you're taking inspiration from two of the most deepest gameplay-driven games. Will that be enough to sell itself apart from other games in the genre? Is my biggest worry, and how it'll do that will be interesting to see.
I think I'm a bit hopeful because they seem to be taking, like you said, they seem to be taking cues from the one of some of the best games out there right now, right? Persona and Devil May Cry are well known in the industry and are pretty amazing games in their own right and are very different. So it's very interesting to see, especially some people from Kolkata trying to take cues from that and make something. So let's see how it comes out. For the moment, the 2 minute trailer that we got shows a lot of stuff. My only concern was that the combat seemed kind of button mashy, but I guess that's to be expected from brawlers. Let's see how it comes out. I'm very excited. I'm interested to see what they do with the calendar thing. I'm guessing they'll go the Persona 3 route, like you said. So let's see. Let's what comes out of it.
I have a
Uh,
gut feeling Sampath knows the two devs.
really?
I don't know. It's
Rahul
like
knows them.
because Persona 5, Devil May Cry, and also Brawlers. Like that's all redacteds. Like I think he might know these guys. So Aman, there's your lead. If you can try and bring him on the
I'll stalk these
podcast.
guys. I'll stalk these guys and find out. That's not a problem. But yeah, I'm interested to see how things come out, and I'm interested. My biggest thing is, Udit will know this. A lot of the developers in India are very well connected because there aren't many developers. These guys are not from that circle, from what I can understand. They are from completely outside, and so they are completely building it inside their own vacuum or bubble. So it's gonna be nice to see what comes out of that. Hopefully, I'm being optimistic. Let's see. Yeah, that's about it. Let's talk about other games. Anything else?
Yeah, there is one game coming,
Yeah,
which,
I, wa- I
which
wanna I wanna just bitch about a game for like 5 minutes and then we can move.
I want to just bitch about it only. Don't worry.
Wait,
It's
which
Marvel's
game?
Avengers.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So
We
I'll
can
just
both
I'll just
bitch
I'll
about.
just mention a few things. When the closed beta came out, everyone was like, "Why do the characters each have a battle pass?" And now we know every character has like a $10 battle pass. What the hell, dude? What are these guys trying to do? I know they said all the characters will be free in the game, and future updates will be free. But is this really the route they're taking? And I am
Uh,
not sure if people will. I am not sure if I agree as a gamer to go through I would actually be more interested to pay for expansions rather than pay for battle passes for characters for a game I've already bought, right? I find that very weird.
and having
I
so
don't
many
know.
battle passes at once,
Yeah, I mean
it's just
right now there is what with Black Widow, then you have
Black
Thor, then
Widow.
you have Iron Man, then you have Hulk, then you have what? Miss Marvel, and there's Clint Barton coming, which is Hawkeye. So there's six. Let's say there's five heroes, That is, you're buying a $60 game, and then you're paying $50 above that for
Oh,
each, like for
for
the
one season.
entire base total
Yeah, for
price. Yeah,
one season, per
so that's
season as
what
well.
that's holy shit. That's Valorant type of milking, dude. Like, and that's Valorant is a free game. This is not.
I can just hear in the corner, Spider-Man is like, please don't let me join those guys. Please don't let me join Avengers. I just had an amazing PS4 game. Please don't let me. But
I mean,
all that said, the reason I have issue with Avengers itself is from the gameplay, just from the perspective of how the characters. Like I said, it would make sense if it was an expansion pack, right? Because the thing is, they're giving you a level where you're getting all these characters together, but that's the reason is these levels are not designed with any particular character in mind, right? So you have to incorporate all of them together, so it just ends up being a very bland design level that has to cater to everything, and in doing so it never caters to anything. I would have more preferred if these levels were actually more designed with certain challenges that would benefit certain play styles and stuff like that, but
certain characters.
yeah.
To add to that topic, there are certain character-driven levels. Like, for example, every character has their own storyline. I'm not
Yeah.
sure how unique those levels are, but they do have like their own storyline and their own missions where maybe you can bring in a friend, like maybe one extra co-op partner, but they will be defined. As in, for example, in the Hulk mission, the Hulk has a personal mission that we got to play in the beta. In the
Right.
Hulk, you can only bring in Miss Marvel, no one else, right? So I
I
think
see.
they can design it stuff like that. But I do understand where you're coming from, which is that yeah, how do you incorporate Spider-Man after he comes like 1 year later, right? And
Right.
you put you put him retroactively in the previous levels. How will that play out? And yeah, it feels very average. I've played the beta. The overarching story is nice. Like, I'm not gonna say it's bad. It gives a lot of that comic book vibes. But when you start playing the game, you completely understand that it's a very average brawler game. If you played brawler games, this is very much a brawler game. I can't think of any brawler game immediately because it's a genre that has not been explored very well in the last 7-8 years. So yeah, but yeah, it's just sad because I was pretty hyped for the
Is
game.
it like
I was very
Yakuza?
hyped.
Yeah.
I was very hyped. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this. I was actually, when
I'm
I
actually
started
glad I
playing it,
didn't buy it. Yeah.
I
when
had
it
no hype
started,
for this.
when I
I
started
didn't
playing
even
it, I was hyped, bro.
Yeah.
This is it. I'm playing as Thor. I'm playing as Iron Man. That did feel very nice, in the beginning bridge scene, right?
Hmm.
But it does fades away after that.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
also
it's just repetitive, punching and the same kind of moves with different animations, and there's
yeah,
not much to it.
I also want to say one more thing. I don't per se agree with the same kind of moves and animations because they have three character skills, like their three skill trees for each characters. But my biggest problem is they give loot, okay, in the game. I know that I don't know if you've seen the game, but they give loot for Hulk, right? And the loot for Hulk is things like spinal cord enhancements and shit like that.
Yeah.
That is
And
how bad.
and my
Okay.
biggest problem is that first of all, that doesn't make sense. Okay. Why does Hulk need enhancement? Second of all, if you're gonna give someone loot, it's 2020. I think everyone wants to see their loot, right? If you're wearing if you're wearing, say, a glove,
Wait,
you,
let me
yeah.
stop you. So you can't see the items you wear.
So there is skins, right?
Okay.
So if you wear skins, your character looks entirely different.
Okay.
They're like costumes that you can get. But the loot that you get, which gives you say +5 agility or whatever is in the game,
Enhancers basically.
you can't see them. You will get, for example, in Miss Marvel, you'll get bracelets, for example, right? You can't actually see her wearing bracelets or anything. Same for Iron Man, same for everyone else.
And
And
the
I think
name
That's
that's
a
and
bummer.
and the naming is so weird, right? Like, it's just dropping some weirder stuff.
You can tell
You'll be
they
like,
gave it to
wow.
probably an intern or somebody to come up
Yeah,
with
like,
that.
See, this is by Crystal Dynamics, and Crystal Dynamics has not particularly impressed me with the Tomb Raider reboots.
Oh
The
yeah, they
first
did
Tomb
the same
Raider,
shit again.
yeah, Tomb Raider reboot, first one was nice, and then they did the same thing twice, right? And it's the exact same thing. If you play the first game, and then you jump straight to the last game, you will find absolutely zero difference because it's just about the same gameplay.
Not also that these guys have been infamous for their exclusive content, right? They also did exclusive maps for Tomb Raider for Xbox, I think, back then. So this has not been this has been sort of a trend for Crystal Dynamics. I wanted to add to Arsh's point of animation cycles because I did notice it. Like I saw the flips, the way Captain Marvel did, the way Black Widow did. I'm like, that's the same animation cycle. You just mapped it to a different model, didn't you? I'm like, yeah, you guys didn't add any personality, the way anything different. That kind of bummed me out, right? Because these characters are not same, right? So to have similar animation cycles is a little bit of a bummer, because that's where personality shines. And to not see that, especially in characters who we know have very well defined personalities at this point, right?
I think we're gonna see another Anthem or something like, and probably not as bad as Anthem because this game actually works. But we are probably gonna see another game that like this. I don't see. I see a lot of decisions being taken back for this game, especially regarding the battle passes and maybe even the loot system. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it. That's end Rant.
I'm excited for the story though.
I'm excited for the story as well. They seem like a very the writers seem very interested, but
it has nice vibes to it.
Everything else seemed like no. So yeah, that's about it. I think that's about it. Let's move on to the next topic. If anyone wants to talk about any other game,
I think we're good.
think so.
Nothing. Okay.
We're good, yeah.
The next topic, something I've wanted to talk about for a long time now. Why Facebook streaming is bad.
Like bad in general or bad in India? All right, so I can actually give my 2 cents on this. So, see, now I'm not going to completely say Facebook streaming is bad. Like, I'm going to give like some of the positive points first. All right, so compared to other platforms, Facebook has a really good encoding system, right, for their live streams. Like, you can get if you stream at 1080p 60, compare that to your YouTube, your Facebook stream is more clear, right? From what I've noticed. That's like from what I've noticed, right? Maybe for you guys it might be different, right? It could be different, but in terms of the encoding, like the transcoding and encoding, like Facebook is much better. And also Facebook as a company, they do support these streamers by paying them, I think, monthly based on like partnership deals and contracts and whatnot. Because I think Facebook does have like a lot of paid partnerships. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure about this, but I mean, from what I heard, right, that's about it. So don't take it into fact. And another thing about like, see, now here comes the cons of Facebook streaming. Like from my own experience, one is engage, like your stream being pushed out to other people to see, right, becomes very difficult when you start out, right? When you start, I think. Wait, okay, I lost my train of thought. I'm really sorry. If anyone wants to take over from where I left off.
I think the major thing is there's no SEO wise growth or tracking that goes on. It can be very hit or miss with the kind of audience you're reaching. Because Aman, if you remember, we were just playing, I think I was streaming Spider-Man, and all of a sudden one day we just got like 60,000 viewers. There was 750 concurrent. We have no idea how that happened.
Not 750. I think we went to 1,500 people watching.
It was
Yes.
1,500. It was 1,500.
Yes. And we have no idea how that happened, right? All of a sudden it just became viral. There was nothing. And nothing after that replicated that success despite using the same tags, despite doing the same kind of things, right? And no idea where it reaches, no idea whom it reaches. And Facebook itself has such an archaic base. Facebook gaming itself feels a very weird thing to me.
Yeah, like
It's too random.
Yeah, I can also watch because when I used to stream Facebook like back in 2018, right? Back then, like it was complete. It was actually it was very random. Like one day I'm streaming Rainbow Six Siege, I have 200, 300 people watching, right? Next day I'm streaming The Witcher 3 or maybe a different FPS game or even Rainbow Six Siege again. It's just the average 20 to 30 people watching, maybe even lesser. right? And engaging with the audience in Facebook, from what I've noticed, is pretty hard because I heard this. I think I heard this from Aman. It's like when you're scrolling down your Facebook feed, right, on your
Counts
phone,
the view.
and you autoplay, it counts as a viewer and a view, right? So before you
3 seconds.
even, yeah, 3 seconds, like, but still, people scroll down, they just read the caption and they just scroll back off, right? By
Yeah.
the time they don't even say hi, before you even say hi to the new viewer, he's already gone, right? Like, there's so many factors involved in this.
Yeah, three
Yeah.
second views counts on
Yeah. So
on the
I'll get into this because I've wanted to talk about this for a long time now. I have a lot of people asking me about, I want to get into streaming, I want to do this, I want to do that, content creation and stuff. Straight off the bat, I want to say something. Don't get into Facebook if you want to get into streaming. There's only one way to earn off of Facebook right now. If Facebook is supporting you, if Facebook is supporting you, they'll probably pay you. There's the second way, which is there's a second more riskier and completely random way, which is what we faced, where some of our streams suddenly went viral and we have like 1,500 people watching, which can happen. And because of the star system and all of that on Facebook, maybe someone will donate, but it's completely unpredictable. There are a few reasons I say this. First of all, I'll just point it out and try to make it as concise as possible. Facebook is not a content creation platform, it's a social media.
True, yeah.
The place encourages you to keep scrolling and keep uh, inside Facebook and not leave Facebook. Basically, Facebook doesn't want you to do anything other than Facebook while you're using the internet. That's his entire philosophy. And you can see that while you are scrolling Facebook, while you're seeing streams. Because in a place, how I can say it is, compared to YouTube, you can't just randomly go away from a YouTube stream that you're watching by just scrolling or, accidentally clicking somewhere. You can do that on Facebook. In Facebook, if you're seeing someone's stream and one swipe up will take you to someone else's stream entirely, which might not even be related. It's not so. If I'm watching an Indian content creator and I just do one swipe up, I might go to completely some South African creator or Japanese creator or Korean creator, and there's no relation whatsoever. Not in the game, not in the language, not in the regionality, nothing. Right. Second thing is Facebook does not because again it's not a content creation platform. It does not reward consistency. It rewards
Yeah.
virality.
Yeah.
It rewards you when you're making things that are that are snappy, that will get people's attention in the first 15 seconds, and then that the the only way, okay, the best way I can describe it is, if you want to be famous in Facebook, the only way to do that is to make a video where in the first 15 seconds to 1 minute you're making the user use the share button, right, and share it into their own social media platform. Unlike in YouTube, where you would actually share it to your friends and be like, watch this, it's very interesting. Right? In Facebook, it makes it so easy for you to share. Like, hey, just press one button and you can show it to your friends. But you don't actually show it to your friends. I have 2,000 people in my friends list, but barely 10 people will see a share that I do from a Facebook live stream, right?
Right.
So that's way it does not reward consistency, unlike YouTube. And the third thing you said, which is Udit, SEO. There is no way of finding actual content that you want to watch as a viewer. How will you know? Okay, for example, today I want to watch Marvel's Avengers video live stream, or say a Valorant live stream. Valorant is a very common game in India today. If I want to see a Valorant live stream from a good content creator, where the hell will you search? Will you search that upper bar in Facebook, and you'll just get random people's names there, right?
Yep.
They've created a separate thing called Facebook Gaming, which works almost exactly as Facebook. It's just that there's only Facebook stream. So yeah, Facebook is not a content creation platform. If you're someone who is interested in streaming, definitely not go in Facebook. Me and Ratz have also, and even Arsh has seen hard evidence of how Facebook streamers, even with their big numbers, tend to not get the offline audience that some of the YouTube streamers get. We won't take names, but we have seen enough evidence when we did a lot of Gamer Connect events. And in Gamer Connect events, generally there's 2,000, 3,000 plus people coming in. And the kind of audience that, even amongst those 2,000 people, if there's at least 400, 500 people who are a fan of YouTubers, there will be exactly 5 to 6 people who are fans of Facebook streamers. Because no one wants to see Facebook stream. And yeah, and that 3 second thing where if you see a video for 3 seconds, you're counted as a viewer. So if you see the graph in your stream in Facebook, right, you will see an attention dip of exactly like this, where in the first 10 seconds or 15 seconds, your the people who are watching, they will just bounce off of your live stream. They will not stay. So yeah, these are issues that I don't think Facebook can solve because of how it's built, right? From 2009 or so. And unless Facebook creates something like a separate platform entirely where they're shifting their
They
user base.
merged with somebody, right? What was that?
They did not merge
Mixer.
with them. The Mixer
No,
went out
Mixer,
went out of
yeah.
business, and they did not merge exactly. They just sent all of Mixer's live streamers to Facebook. They basically said whoever is tied up with Mixer and forms a partnership, and whoever is getting money from Mixer, they can go to Facebook, and Facebook will give you the money, which is nice for the content
They
creators.
basically exited. Like that was
They
basically
basically
Mixer getting out of it. Okay.
Yeah, they basically exited because Mixer was not getting growth year on year, right?
Oh,
It
I
was,
understand.
it was the
So
same.
what I want- yeah.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to say is like YouTube, despite it not being as streaming oriented as Twitch is, it still is a video hosting platform, right? So it still has that in mind. And that's always going to be better than something that was mainly for social media, that is mainly for interacting with your friends and keeping that ecosystem, right? YouTube has always been about pushing out the content that the viewer wants. That's sent out the way it's been built, and obviously it has direct share links to every other platform, which is much easier and much better encoded. So yeah, unfortunately we don't have the option of Twitch in India. So I would recommend, if you want to become a streamer, I would say YouTube. The numbers at Facebook might seem prettier, but they don't paint the whole picture. So don't go into the numbers game.
There's a lot of fake views.
Yes.
Facebook is the Indian news media for a lot of people. They're only after showing you the bigger cake, but when you cut the cake, there's nothing inside. I think that's the best way I can describe it. It's all fluff, very little content. And every Facebook content creator that I know, like Nas Daily and others, they're all viral content creators. If you can understand, they're all content creators that rely on the ability of people who are watching them to immediately share and make it viral. So yeah, I am not very. I'm not a fan of Facebook. I think a lot of people have wasted a lot of time streaming on Facebook and making content creation on Facebook, including us. Me and Udit used to, and even Ratz used to do a podcast on Facebook. We went till almost like for 50, 100 episodes.
50 episodes we went.
50
Yeah.
episodes,
Yeah, and we did a lot of things. I have handled a lot of pages on Facebook. It has gone worse over time.
Facebook needs to handle its shit when it comes to being a social media page itself first.
Yeah, it's not a content creation platform. It's not something even if you don't get the amazing amount of views that you're getting on Facebook, if you're streaming, I would suggest, if you genuinely want to do streaming full time or in a serious capacity, don't look at Facebook. Definitely go to YouTube. Twitch does not exist in India. Servers don't not available. The numbers that YouTube offers in the long run are nothing comparable. Like Facebook cannot compete with that, I think. And the only way you're getting anything out of Facebook is if Facebook directly pays you, which, as already discussed, like as Ratz said, and I think Udit also said, Facebook does pay some of its partner streamers and pays a good amount. But in the long run, it's probably hurting you, because if you want to be a content creator, your long run is not what salary you're getting from Facebook. Then it's a job.
Yeah.
Then it's not content creation. Then you're not becoming like an influencer, quote unquote, right? You're not actually growing your fan base. You're not going to growing your community. And yeah, go YouTube. Anyone who's watching this, anyone who wants this advice, don't waste your time on Facebook. That's it. And you wanted to say something, Arsh. Why don't you continue? You've worked with Facebook for a long time. I think you're muted.
He's muted. Like Facebook muted him. Like, damn, this guy knows too much. Let him not talk.
He's still muted.
No, I think maybe his mic disconnected. Yeah, so he has 2 points to mention. We're
If
not
you
playing.
can't hear,
We're not playing dumb charades though.
Oh, okay.
He's
He's telling us to wait. Till that time, Aman, you need to speak over this.
Yes, I think that's more or less about Facebook. Because yeah, my main reason why I hate Facebook is I have seen particularly some content creators try on Facebook for almost 2 years now, and they have growth in terms of just 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 viewers, and when they stream they get like 30, 40 people watching, whereas the same people, I have known people who have done similar things in YouTube, and they started off at a lower starting position than some of the Facebook friends that have started streaming in Facebook, and they have actually gotten much, much, much higher than Facebook has ever taken any of its streamers. And I know a lot of streamers on Facebook. I know most of the streamers on Facebook
Uh,
from India. So yeah.
so there's this thing, right? You guys are very on point about most of the things you said about Facebook streaming, especially you did. So what happens on Facebook is it does not really care about what your interests are, even though Facebook has its own interests, the pages you like, what kind of pages, it does not care. It will only boost what is, already in the top watching. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter, what kind of content you create, what the interests are. It does not match the interest with the videos. It will just keep on boosting what people are watching on that particular day, on that particular month, and whatever. So that's why, if you're streaming, as long as you're streaming PUBG Mobile, Facebook will be a blessing for you. But you move out of that and it can really go down. And if you go in a different country, Warzone is just going to be very famous there, and a different country. So it's very like in one region now, if one game is being watched, it will only push it. There is no thing. And the second thing is the lack of search button. It really kills the content creation if there is no search button. Doesn't make matter how many videos you're making. And
Yes.
I know many content creators who have been asking Facebook again and again to add this feature, and Facebook has been trying. I'm not saying they're not trying, but they're not trying very.
I mean,
I mean,
I mean, how can you solve that also? They already have a search button, but if you click, say, if you search
Means different
no,
Valorant
things.
no, there is
pros.
there is a way. See, the thing is, with the Facebook app, they did add this button, right? Watch, this button in the middle with the
Okay.
gaming.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Notification.
now there are like six buttons, right? So there's a watch, there's a gaming, right? The gaming is a full gaming videos, and watch is for videos which are outside the sphere of gaming, maybe gaming as well. You can search there, but it still somehow managed to fail, right? It doesn't matter what you're searching. So that is one major issue. And it's like they don't really encourage content creation. As you said, they want to keep you on the platform, and there's always this thing going about key, you have to catch the first 15 second. And I have seen that firsthand. That does not really work on YouTube. I mean, it does work, but
I mean, it does
not,
work, but
yeah,
not
not
the
as
way.
well as it
Yeah.
you might remember, I made some videos with Steve's dad, right? And in one of the videos, if we just put something so original or so funny, so weird, in just the first 10 seconds, it doesn't matter how stupid the rest of the video is, you'll get like 70K
Shares.
views. Even when you're getting 2K views before on all of your videos, you'll get 70K on that stupid video,
Mm.
right? But after that, that video is gone. That video is no one's feed, you can't search it, and the content is gone, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So Facebook only encourages, as for the Facebook gaming, it only encourages streaming.
Yeah, I
Okay.
want to just point out to that what you said about video being gone. The shelf life of videos on Facebook are zero,
Yeah,
right? If you put it
There's
out,
no archiving at all, dude.
yeah,
I mean, see, the unless it comes up in the people who have shared the videos, memories, whatever, comments or
Like two
something.
clips basically.
Yeah, it's just gone, right? It will grow for, like, it will go on for 2 weeks and then it's gone. Facebook does encourage streaming a lot, but as I said, it's not really streaming if it's not interest based, right? If I go to YouTube, I see all kind of streamers, even though I'm not subscribed to them, and it's kind of a unique content.
yeah.
It's not just one game.
Hmm.
Facebook doesn't do that. If you are in Europe, US, you'll get this one game that is always going to be there, right? If you are in India, the only game you can play on Facebook is PUBG Mobile,
Hmm.
and or GTA. But now GTA is going down because people have stopped playing GTA. So it doesn't matter if you used to get 2,000 views before. Now you'll only get maybe 100.
You just gotta adapt to the what
Just for the
people
So yeah,
want.
same example, because the Spider-Man one hit because Spider-Man just released that
Was, yeah,
week.
Yeah.
When the
popular.
DLC came out, I played that 3 months later. Did not get anywhere close to that those views. right? So that tells you a lot about even within the same game, how you can have two completely
and
different.
and there is no community building, to be honest,
Yeah, there's no
like
community building because Facebook is boosting this, right? And
uh,
Facebook will boost it to every person, whether they're interested in games or not. They'll just come up randomly to your newsfeed. And I mean, how many people, how many times have we used Facebook where you're just scrolling through the newsfeed and we come across a random live stream we just see for 3 seconds and we're like, yeah, no. And that's what Facebook does, I
I
think.
think it's very intentional. All these things we are actually complaining about, they seem very
It is
intentional.
intentional. It is very
Gave you
intentional. I
stats
want
for a
to
reason to
I
say.
want to point out how this is actually intentional, because in 2018, I think, when all of this came out initially, Facebook did get into trouble because they said Facebook live streaming was going to be the next big thing. And what happened was every business was giving their views, which was inflated views from Facebook side. And because of that, I don't exactly know where this article is. I'll probably put it in the description later for anyone who wants to check out. But Facebook did get into trouble for putting out inflated views for content creator and especially small businesses, which later made some of these small businesses shut down because they had shifted their entire video content creation. Like, they basically went from image content creation, which they were already doing on Facebook, to video content creation because Facebook said so, and they slumped entirely. So yeah, interesting case study that's already been done. I think this was a Forbes article. I will find it out, and I'll link it in the description later on for anyone to check out. But yeah, if you're getting into streaming, don't choose Facebook,
Yeah,
especially in India.
you can't build a community at all, because
Yeah,
even if you're subscribed, you might not even see the stream of the guy, and you'll just see all the random streams, like
Yeah,
all the random
notifications. The
streams.
notifications don't work well on
Yeah,
Facebook.
even if you are notified, if you
Like,
even
it's
have
worse than
subscribed,
YouTube.
if you have subscribed, you still won't get a notification. But if someone comments on your post from like 10 years ago, it will go send a notification to you, your friends, your family, and all the people you're mutual with. And
here's the
Aman knows.
here's the thing. YouTube will inform you about a live stream or a video upload maybe 3 days later, maybe even 7 days later. Okay, maybe 7 days later. I have had live stream notifications from 3 days back when my friends live stream. I've had live stream video notifications from 7 days back. Facebook, if it decides you're not worthy of seeing the person, it will not show you. There's no notification. Doesn't matter when. It will simply not show you the notifications. So if you keep visiting frequent, and they work on a Facebook works completely on an algorithm basis. So if you keep visiting a page over and over again individually on your own self, by your own self, they will give you all the notifications from that page, whether it goes live, whether it posts something, whether they put an announcement, whatever. But if you just like something and then you say, okay, maybe I will see their streams next time they stream, or maybe if they do a video, I will see it. You'll probably not get it. Yeah. So
And
yeah, that's about it.
That's right.
and there's also this another thing now. I think Facebook, even though they try to say that we are just bringing up, we want to bring up streamers, we are bringing up content creator, it's harming them because people end up spending so much money, and
Yes.
later on their reach just goes, right? I know
Yes.
people have spent lakhs on it, and their reach was like blooming, right? They're like 4,000 people watching, and then like after a few days it's just what, 200, then it could go to 20, and it stays as long as you're streaming that one game that is on that Facebook boosting. And
Yeah.
it seems like they're boosting it by themselves. Okay, this is the game we care about, and let it go. We don't care about any other content, right?
Mm.
So this is not really, there's no freedom of the content creation, because you won't really have any views if you just want to stream whatever you want to stream.
Yeah. So it's not a content friendly platform at all.
Yeah, it's
Um,
harming the streamers and content
yeah,
creators, so
it
I think.
harms the streamer. I think both me and Arsh and even Ratz know several people who have. I mean, I have friends from Guwahati who have been streaming on Facebook for a long time, and they haven't seen significant growth. I have friends from everywhere else in India who have been streaming a long time. Some of them are the biggest streamers in Facebook, and most, like 90%, 95% of them are upset with how Facebook is going with things. There's a few exceptions, but I think they're just like, it's like Stockholm syndrome for them right now or something.
Okay, so
But yeah, let's continue from the last
continue.
topic. And yeah, Facebook streaming bad. Don't Facebook streaming, basically YouTube.
YouTube videos good, Facebook
YouTube,
streaming bad.
yeah. If you're in India, at least.
To
Yeah.
be honest, if I won't ever choose to stream, I think I'll if Twitch comes to India, I'll stream. Otherwise,
Which is your primary go-to source for streaming, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it has
It's
not deemed
Yeah.
us worthy.
I mean, I stream
Amazon.
on Twitch, so I
If,
stream
if
on Twitch for chill.
what if Amazon is watching our podcast and like we can request? No, not happening.
I'm a Twitch affiliate. Make me partner.
bro, I
Thanks.
even got Twitch lights. Come on, look at it.
Hit me up,
I
Twitch.
want Twitch.
Anyway,
Sponsor me, Twitch.
um,
Okay, let's go.
last topic for the day, which is Microsoft in India. Something that I want to talk about. So okay, this is also going to be a rant post, sort of. Microsoft. Okay, I will give you again. There is another article that I want everyone to read if they're watching this. This is an article by Rishi Alwani in Marco Reactor, where they talk about Microsoft and India basically, and why if Microsoft and PS wants to win next gen, they have to concentrate on India. I think it's very evident with how the entire PUBG Mobile scene came up in the last 2 years, and PUBG Mobile is a fraction of the population of the Indian, like the capital or whatever you can call it, the human resource in India, right? It's not everyone is playing PUBG. And I have to point out the fact that we have the largest youth population. Not even China has the largest youth population. China might have the largest population, but we have more younger kids in India under the age of 25, I think, if I'm correct. Right? And so, yeah, Microsoft is doing some really good things, and Microsoft is executing them in the worst possible ways.
Sounds like a very Microsoft thing to be.
Yeah. So, Udit, do you want to talk on this?
No, continue. I did read the article that you posted. Again, I agree with that. Most of that has to do with the pricing, right? And the fact that India is a very mobile-driven market, which I do understand and I can attest to, right?
You're playing 180 days ke liye random mobile game.
And a person, is
I mean, you played
really stingy
Spider-Man
about
and
getting.
everything.
I would rather wait one extra day to get those 5 tickets than pay, the amount that those guys want me to pay to get them. Right? Pricing is a big deal in India, and you see certain people do it well. Like if you're hitting people with a huge price of 500 or something like that, that is a lot for people here, right? Whereas here we are more interested in, first testing out if that product is something we even want to invest in, right? Like if that is a product I want to invest another hour in, that's how little and that's how granular we are thinking here, right? Maybe if you put it, I saw one very interesting thing I saw in that article was the thing about Vodafone, right, where they talked about the about the tune, right, which it almost costed just $30 for somebody to just listen somebody else's tune, and how that worked. That's how granular the market here needs is actually, and to understand that is where the success of Microsoft and Sony lies with their services. The subscription is a platform. It's not going to get you everything.
So I want to continue on that. Pricing is one issue, but I think it's probably the least important issue. I think pricing is fine because we have to understand people already pay for Netflix here, which is some similar pricing, right? Netflix is how much? Like the lowest cost one?
I think it's 99 bucks for mobile
It
phones.
goes for
only.
$199. The lowest price is $199.
No, I think
That's
it's
also
something
mobile.
even lower as well, dude. Like,
No, I
The
think the
mobile
199.
HD is $199.
Yeah, the mobile is 199, and then you have I think a 400 rupee subscription, and then I have like the one I use is like an 800 buck, right? Which is where you
That's
can
for
have like,
multiple people, right?
yeah, multiple people, you can watch it on any device, stuff like that. Netflix has a very large population in India, right? There's a lot of people watching Netflix in India, so, to the point that they're making multiple India-centric
Yeah.
TV shows, movies, stuff like that. So that goes to speak volumes for how well the subscription system is doing in India. While we don't have particular numbers, what I can say is that one of the biggest problem is the fact that people can't even pay for Microsoft Xbox Pass even if they want to. right?
Yeah, that is
Right.
the
This is
problem.
what I want to get to.
Not on the
Not
mobile, right?
everyone has credit card or debit card. As to put into retrospect, today Steam has cash on delivery for digital games, right?
True.
If you want to buy games and people don't trust in the Indian consumer, like my mom still does not have a credit card, my dad still does not have a credit card. Simply the reason put is because they think it's unsafe, they think it's easier to hack, stuff like that. And a lot of people in India carry similar mentalities. Not to mention, India is a very poor country, so you were unlikely to find a lot of people with a credit card, and especially an international credit card, right? I have one because I have had a job for longest time, and I got my credit card after 3 years of my job, not even in the beginning. So I think that's one of the biggest reasons why people don't even know that Xbox Pass exists, because people can't buy it. The few people that can, who know about it and can purchase it, are being stopped at the gate because they're like, either give us an international debit card or an international credit card. And I know a lot of friends who have wanted to buy it. I know Mudra wanted to buy Xbox Pass and could not because she did not have an international debit card.
Yeah,
So that's one of the,
same
yeah.
for my case as well. Like there are so many good games in Xbox Game Pass. I can't even take it $50 because my normal domestic debit card doesn't work. I need
I mean,
to.
that's a great point because that's how Flipkart even grew its business, right? Because they offered the cash on
Cash on
delivery
delivery.
system, and that's how they grew.
Yes.
Yeah, and Indian market is very big on that, and I
Cash
do
on delivery.
agree.
Yes.
Either there's not even an option. Obviously, there's not even an option for Paytm or any of that, right?
Yeah, that is the problem. No,
Yes.
because Paytm is used by like almost everyone these days because they have all the domestic credit cards and debit card support.
Hmm.
And Microsoft didn't even bother adding like it's not really hard because I've seen some very small websites using the 3D secure which works with Indian website. There are many international websites that do work with
I
Indian debit cards. There are like I mean I won't say that it's in majority, but I see that websites integrating that 3D secure because of the reason because other countries are enabling it as well, right?
Mm.
So which means Indian debit card managed to work there as there's a 3D secure which Indian sorry cards need, right? But Microsoft didn't bother. They could have anything really. They could put any kind of payment gateway, and they just went on with that simple credit card or international debit card method, which really harms people because I see many people even in my friend list. I see many people saying, bro, like in 250 rupees you can get so many games, right? And first month is 50 rupees, right?
Mm.
And they are not some bad
And
games, they are some real good games.
I want to point out how they give the first month offer multiple times. It's not a first month offer.
I'm using it third time.
Yeah. So yeah, it's for the same account. It's not like you have to do some cheating by creating another account with another email address with another card. No, you have the same account. If you have unsubscribed, 3 months later they'll be like, "Oh, here you go, 50 rupees again. Just subscribe."
Okay,
Right?
another thing there as well. Sorry, Aman. I just want to add it because I will forget about it. There's a Microsoft Store has this weird thing. Like if you have a different store account, for example, you're paying. I take a store account. Okay, I've only tried it once. It worked for me. I don't know, for sure it works, but I mean, it worked for me without any flaws, so it should work. If I'm using your store account and I download the game and I register the game, right, and I'm playing it, the achievements get saved into my own account, not your store account. So, but I'm still able to play the games.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Isn't
it
that
will
nice?
ask. It will ask what Xbox account you want to use.
That's a nice thing, right? That's a
Yeah.
good thing. Yeah.
So there is somewhat of game sharing there as well, like Netflix. So I mean, I have not really tested it to lens, but I just tried it once and it worked, first time. I didn't have any pass, Xbox pass. I just used my friend's account and it worked.
Yeah.
So there's that. But
if yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so but the issue remains, right? It's not expensive with it. I would disagree with you on the expensive part, but when we think about it, most of the time passes are expensive like these, but the games they give are some real nice games, right? And some of those games you'll buy for 3,000 and you might not even play again, after completing it once. But at the same time, you're paying, like, if you're paying 250, right, you're essentially paying the same amount for all the games in a year, and you can play so many games. And some we do abandon some of the games just playing after one time, right? There's always that thing happening.
I think
So
what the article was talking about is the kind of subscriptions, right? Which was interesting in my opinion. Which is what are the different levels of subscription? There's a monthly subscription. There's a
There's those just monthly subscription from what I've
Yeah,
seen.
so
There's
I
far.
no
think
way to
I think they do
Right,
get.
have one of those 6 months and 12 year, like 12 month
right.
packages
So
I
as well.
never
whereas
seen anything
what
along.
has worked, now, this is obviously it makes sense. When it comes to games and if it's a service and if you want to start out, I was just thinking if there could be something more granular for people to test out. Obviously, Netflix is a counter example where people are open to paying for monthly. I was just thinking, for more granular, like a weekly, or even if you want to test your waters with that. But then again, there's that 50 rupees subscription. So yeah, I do concede on that point. My thing is, yes, when Steam can put a support for Paytm and other pricing, why is Microsoft not doing
Yeah,
that?
and Microsoft is much bigger compared to Steam or Paytm, right? That's my biggest thing. Um, going to the second point, Microsoft is not a small player. Steam is a private organization that's it's a billion-dollar company, but it's still a private organization. That's the thing, most important thing I want to point out. And what I want to say is, if today Microsoft wanted, and this is where I want to come in, they're trying to do a lot of pro consumer things from the top down, right? People like Phil Spencer and the head of Microsoft and the Xbox Studios, they're trying to make actually good things right now. For example, let's just say Obsidian, right? Obsidian is putting out such nice games, and they're planning to put out what is a Skyrim competitor, basically. So their entire philosophy in how they're making games, how they want to give games to the consumers, has changed drastically in the last 5 or so years. We haven't actually seen the mechanisms underneath that philosophy change. In India, particularly, is something I want to talk about. Is that again Xbox Pass, 50 rupees? No one knows about it.
It's not
Absolutely no
advertised.
one knows about it. There is zero marketing. There's no marketing on TV. There's no newspaper marketing. There's no hoarding. There's no presence of Xbox Game Pass in the Indian in India, in the country, because no one is talking about it other than the people who are actually playing it or using it. And I think that, and from what I am seeing, that is also the case internationally, not just in India, right? Across the world, barely people know. Like today, just to give you an idea, 10 million people are using Xbox Pass, whereas it should be, dude, it's $1. It's literally $5 for a subscription. Even if it was expensive in India, it is not expensive in a lot of places across the world. What is going on there, right? So I think Microsoft really needs to go back and see what they're doing wrong, and I think they're doing wrong in very, very silly ways, which is, come on, just put out your, one thing I want to talk about is you can get PSN cards in retail stores. You can't get anything similar to Xbox cards. You used to get Xbox Gold cards back in the day, right? If I remember correctly, till before Xbox One, you would get Xbox Gold cards for Xbox 360 and so on in retails, but that changed entirely, and now you can't get any of those. And that should, like, why did they decide to remove that? And we kind of know some of the answers. When Xbox One came to India, they went for that whole Amazon exclusivity thing, which kind of like hurt them instead of help them. Well, obviously, we are not yet we are still not entirely an online market, even despite the pandemic going on, which should tell people, don't just rely on online alone. This is still a very brick and mortar country. And the other thing I want to point out is there's such a amazing library of games, but the way they put it on PC is so bad. I'm just talking about PC here. There's 3 Xbox apps on PC. 3. Why? Why? For what reason? There's an Xbox game bar which lets you record and like optimize things, which doesn't even work properly.
Yeah, it
There's
is.
the Xbox app which was in beta and which came out of beta, and there was no announcement of it coming out. I mean, come on, even games
It
announcement.
was there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I suddenly checked and it's out of beta apparently, and I'm like, okay, nice.
And only place I've seen them advertising it is Twitter or in India.
I haven't even seen that.
I
I
have
haven't
seen
seen that.
advertisement of Xbox, this Xbox Game Pass and Xbox PC things, but on Twitter.
And the third thing is the Xbox Store, which is sorry, Microsoft Store, which is abysmal by itself, right? Which is like you don't know where the reviews are, you don't know how to download them, you don't know how to install uninstall. Yeah, coming back to that, if you install games from Xbox app using the Xbox Pass, sometimes there's people reporting that you can't uninstall them properly.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
weird.
it
That
happened with me.
is,
I can
yeah,
vouch for it. It
I
happened
can
with me
vouch
as
for
well.
it too. Like,
Actually, most of the time, if you have a Microsoft Store app installed, you can't delete it. You can erase your computer, but you can't delete that folder
yeah,
Yeah.
unless
like,
you just find a way to for Microsoft to clear it. And if because of some glitch, Microsoft Store did not clear it, it's there. You can't delete it. You can't access it. You can't
Yeah.
open the folder for to check the files in your.
You have
exactly,
to
yeah.
format your PC with it
Yeah.
to get that game out. It's
Hmm.
that bad. And this is Microsoft, the makers of Windows. They literally made Windows.
You know what, Aman? As sad as this is, none of it surprises me.
And you know, the worst part is the fact that the Xbox Pass game library is easily, and I don't say this without, I'm saying this genuinely, is easily one of the best gaming libraries out there. The biggest problem Steam had, and I've been following Steam from what? I have been following Steam from 2009, but I've created multiple accounts, and then I settled for my final account in 2013, which is still ongoing, right? But the biggest problem Steam had from its earliest days is the fact that it had a hard time curating the games and presenting the games
True.
to the consumer. Microsoft easily right now, Xbox Pass easily has the best curation of games out there. If you want to play high quality, good 9 on 10, 8 out of 10, 10 on 10 games, Xbox Pass is a no brainer. You will get, I have played Gears 5, I've played Prey 2. Prey 2 on Steam, when I played on Xbox Pass for 50 rupees, was 3,500. I played it for 50 rupees on Xbox Pass, right? That's amazing. I got access to a horde of indie games, which are just high quality indie games. You can see that there's a thought process behind it, that they have, they put some thought into
Got it.
what games actually comes into the catalog and stuff. And it's just sad that how the implementation of such an amazing library of games is
Yeah,
so
it,
sad.
it is an amazing library. You can't
Mm.
disagree to it because I scroll through it every day, and every time I'm like, wow, they are even doing
and
this
you will
here.
always find something or the other to play
Yeah,
on Xbox Pass.
and every day they'll add new games, right? There's a recently added section. Okay, so
Yeah.
now they even added some new games. Okay, the Wasteland 3 is the newest game, and Aman is playing that as well, right? And then they are every tell me why is there on Xbox Pass. So they keep on adding
I
new
had to
games.
resist the urge.
Yeah,
So,
I
I was
wanted to
also
actually
gonna
sing. I was like, which one of you
say,
guys
God
are going to
damn
sing
it.
it first? I was legit wondering, like, which one of you guys are going to sing it first. And I was like,
So no, still, I think they should advertise it better, right? And there's one last thing, Aman. Which are we not going to talk about the Sony thing where they said they are going to make more first-party games for PC?
I mean, yeah, but I guess these are all
Doesn't
old games. I
surprise
don't
me.
expect any new
I
games to
Yeah.
come.
still want to play some of
I
them.
I I want to squash anyone's hope who is expecting any of PS5 games to come on
Oh
PC.
no,
Obviously, I
Spider-Man
mean
Miles
that's
Morales
that's
isn't coming to
Yeah,
yeah,
PC
no,
anytime
Spider-Man
soon.
no,
itself
no,
is
I
not
don't.
for
coming.
PC.
I'm just telling you, Spider-Man itself is probably not coming. At least not for the next 3 years.
About that, I would say again, there are people who are saying this is the end of PlayStation and stuff. First of all, Sony is not gonna make moves that is going to
Yeah, that will.
counterintuitively
Yeah,
No, they'll
destroy the
never do it.
PlayStation. All right,
yeah,
that well doesn't make sense on many levels.
yeah.
The Horizon deal made sense because they wanted you to get interested into the IP
Horizon Zone,
so that
and
you
then
buy
story. Yeah,
PlayStation for Horizon 2.
I
This
think
will follow that trajectory.
I
So
think
God
they're
of
Yeah,
War
gonna
it
might
do
will.
the
come.
same thing with God of War. I
Yes, so
think
God
they're
of War
gonna
might come.
do. Yeah, I think they're gonna do it with some of the less successful franchises. Maybe like something like Days Gone. I think they
True.
might put it in PC because that game did not sell very very well on PS, whereas a lot of expectations were there. So I think to get that extra revenue out of PC while also getting people interested on the PlayStation hardware and the PlayStation brand of games, they are doing this. And I don't see any current gen games. At least I don't see any games that are out in PS5 to immediately come on PC. I
do
expect them to come out maybe when BS6 comes out. Yeah,
Down the line,
something like
definitely.
that.
Yeah.
Something like that. So yeah,
Maybe
that
Dreams is one game I see them putting on PC, and I think they will benefit from putting that game on PC.
yeah, it's a very creative thing, right?
Yes.
And it's also not very like I don't think there's a lot of there's microtransactions,
No, there
but
is no
it's not.
microtransaction then. That is a game that can actually benefit from free to play type of methodology.
Yeah, it seems like an interesting game, but I don't see any of the big blockbusters coming to
No,
PC.
but I'm still interested in playing some of the old games
I
on
am
PC
interested,
as
yes.
well.
Definitely. I mean, their library is
And
brilliant.
because see, I have played a lot of like PlayStation games, back in like when I was in school and maybe in the early days of college. But during college, I just moved completely to the PC platform and never really played many of the games that I really wanted to play. Right, they are still very old games, and there's a chance that those games might even come on PC now, right? And I'm kind of interested about that, but you know. Okay, so there's another thing I want to ask: is Killzone still alive?
Yes, it is
I think
alive.
they will bring it back. There's a lot of hints around that. I read.
Insomniac is getting bigger. Let's just say, no, that was by Gorilla. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a gorilla. Horizon Zero Dawn people. But
Mm,
I read somewhere that Killzone is one of the games that might come to PC, by the way. Just saying.
makes
It's
sense.
one of the games that is rumored at coming to PC from the
Killzone is rumored. Bloodborne is rumored. Persona
yeah.
5 is rumored.
And God of
Persona 5.
Persona 5 is
That's
not a PS
It's not
exclusive.
their exclusive anywhere to begin with. I mean, it's not the. It's a third-party game.
And
oh, okay,
Sega
okay.
Sega is the publisher, right?
Atlas.
True. Yeah.
Wasn't it Atlas? Atlas is the developer,
Atlas is
right?
the developer.
Atlas is the
Sega is
developer. Sega is the publisher.
yeah. And
Alright.
Sega wants to bring more games to PC because they
Persona
saw
5 will come to PC, but when it comes to first-party Sony, yeah, you can expect a Killzone and other games like that. There's a lot of PlayStation exclusive games that's there.
That still can come to PC. I mean,
Yes.
there are still games that maybe they won't really be more relevant to the PlayStation users today, but to the PC players, they might be new things. So I guess Horizon Zero Dawn in one or another way is right for the like. I don't think I've played a game like this one before,
Oh
and
yeah.
I mean,
It has a
so
lot of generic open world stuff,
and
but
I don't I keep forgetting the name of this game. It was not really a as big game. It was made by Sony, and the protagonist is a girl who goes through a world.
Gravity
And
Rush?
no, I really want to remember the name, and but I can't. It's a red haired girl, and it's some kind of Sky Island Sony exclusive, and I really was excited.
wait,
See,
wait. I know. Heavenly Sword, I think it's called.
Release so.
was
Oh
it
yeah,
Heavenly
by
Sword?
Ninja Theory. Ninja
Yes,
Theory.
Heavenly Sword.
Heavenly
That was
Sword.
That's the
PS3.
PS3. That's the PS3 game. Are you
Yeah,
talking
so I
about?
did play this game, like, right, and when I played this game, I think it was quite old even by then,
Hmm.
I guess.
It
So
was
but
it was one of the
I
flash.
really like this game, but it is not really I know I don't know how people like this game, but I liked it, right? Because I mean, it was way long ago. So
2007.
yeah, so
Then
there's
again,
so many. My point being, there's so many titles that PC gamers especially don't know about at all,
Oh yeah.
right?
the rights of Heavenly Sword might be weird because Ninja Theory is currently owned by Microsoft, so I don't know how that's gonna go down.
No,
But
obviously, I'm not really
uh,
talking about this game only,
right,
but
right. But I understand what you mean, and because while we do know about the heavy hitters of this generation that PlayStation has, those are not the complete and entire library of the games. PlayStation did release a lot of indie games
they
and
did.
stuff which is under their belt, which we probably have not heard of, which will benefit from coming to PC. And I do see that happening. And it is good that it is happening. It's good for the brand, it's good for us. Everybody wins. There's no is PlayStation dying or some stuff like that.
I
That's
don't
not
think
the
so.
case here.
I mean, PlayStation
No.
is a kind of platform. I don't think at this point can easily die. Right? They have just built this exclusive zone of themselves, and they've done it real well. They do reward their users. I think so,
I
because
think the whole will this die has been going on for such a long time. I'm just tired of it. I heard so many times World of Warcraft killer is coming, and then in 2013 I clearly remember when a lot of gaming analysts and a lot of high profile gaming industries people said consoles are going away. This is the last generation of
yeah,
consoles and stuff
and
like
and
that.
And I want to add to that. 4K gaming is so damn hard on PC. It's so damn easy on PlayStation. What, like,
I think that's
so
something that Udit will want to say, where I will probably disagree.
Hey man, play what you want. What do you say?
But I think that's simply because of the fact that, like Udit told me long back, which is it's easier to optimize on a single spec hardware.
yeah,
Right,
that
that's
is
right.
true.
Yes. Making games for a fixed hardware, right, is always a much from a developer standpoint, right? If I know a fixed hardware specifications, the details of it, and if I have to make a game specifically for that, it's gonna be a lot more easier for me to leverage maximum out of that than if I have to cater to multiple specs, right? I might have to make certain sacrifices, which might be hard to make sure everybody's getting the same experiences. So that's where I think your 4K gaming
Yeah, it's
thing
like
comes.
iOS PS4 thing, right?
Yes.
That's why our
Yeah.
games run better on iOS as well, because the optimization can be really done well.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, I think
right.
that's
We
about it.
digress quite a bit.
Yeah, I think that's about it. We didn't actually plan to talk about PlayStation, but nice. Anyone else? Any last topics to say or share or wisdom to share?
I mean, I'm excited for the new upcoming games like World of Warcraft Shadowlands, 27th October.
Yeah.
I'm
World of Warcraft is getting RTX. Who's excited for that? Not
Oh
me,
yeah,
but-
What?
that's also World of Warcraft also getting RTX because the
What?
the recent So just to brief you guys, the recent alpha patch for World of Warcraft Shadowlands has enabled a new setting in the video settings called ray tracing, and there are like 4 different options for players to choose from. So there's a possibility that World of Warcraft will get ray tracing. How impactful it will be to like the visuals and all that we're yet to see, because that will
I mean,
have to.
we've already seen it. It's like it's okay.
It seems
If you're
okay, but then again,
I don't expect it to be, for this sake, I don't expect it to be really detailed because that's going to crash the entire game. So
exactly, yeah, it will.
The thing is, at the end of the day, what they're doing with the RTX in World of Warcraft is just shadows. Okay, so it's like, yeah, I'm like, fine. I don't know who asked for it, but nice.
it's a marketing thing they have to show. Like, we have RTX done.
I think it's
Ray tracing, sorry. My bad.
yeah.
Not
I
getting
think
that
it was kind of like a brand thing where Blizzard and Nvidia went like, hey,
Probably, yeah. They have worked together like on a lot of different.
what more exciting games are coming recently? I
See,
think
for me, I'm even excited about Spellbreak, and I'm like a little bit weird, weird nerd for the high fantasy things, and I really wanted a multiplayer game, but it's battle royale though. There's that bummer, but I still am excited for it. Were you there when I showed the basic gameplay of Spellbreak?
I played Spellbreak during beta.
You
Actually.
did? Okay. So I did play one of the betas only. The second time I got the beta kit was too late. The beta ended the last day, so I only managed to play the tutorial again. I really liked the combos and shit you can do, but I don't think this game will last very long. But I
Yeah.
really want it
I
to.
think this is the dying time of like battleground games.
It's going to be like Hyperscape, something very new. Maybe people will try it once or twice. They'll play it for
I
a couple
don't
of
see
days. And then-
Hyperscape also surviving more than say like a month or so.
I really
no,
wanna,
Hyperscape is already gone, I think.
I really wanna play like the Mafia trilogy, but in definitive edition, because I've only played Mafia 2. Aman told me that don't play Mafia 3; it's a bit of a grind, and a lot of
It's
people
very
of people online have told me that Mafia 1 was like the best, like it is like top of the level. So I mean, I'm excited. It's coming out 25th September, right? That's I think like some 3-4 weeks from now.
And
For
Outer
me-
World DLC is coming, right?
Oh yeah, that is coming. Yeah, I completely
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Outer World
Me-
DLC is coming.
And
I
then we
think-
have Udit's game coming also in November.
You have a game coming out in November? Oh, nice.
Game are- Which game are you talking about?
Cyberpunk.
Oh, Cyberpunk.
game.
Oh. I thought he was developing a game. He's a game dev, so I actually thought he was.
I was confused. What? Am I developing a game? Oh, okay, fine. Yeah, but the game I'm excited to play right now is, I don't like Life is Strange in any capacity, but Tell Me Why is the game
Are
I
you
want
going to play? Tell me why. I think I might give it a try as well.
Ain't nothing but
Yeah, it just we can't stop. Like I even think like in the gamer connect community, right? I think when Decker posted that tell me why review thread, it's like instinct. I'm just reading,
Comments.
scrolling through, and I'm like, I just see tell me why review thread. I was like, ain't nothing but a heartache. I was like, just
And then the second 2 3 comments also like end up like
like
Yeah.
Okay.
it's like a nice line. Like it's pretty funny.
So there's another thing. I don't really have a Switch, and I don't really know much about Switch because Udit is here. What do you think about Apex Legends on Switch? Like,
No.
I
Apex
it's
have
Legends
not
coming.
is on
played.
Switch.
It's coming. No.
It is?
Wait, it
Yeah.
is?
It is. Apex Legends is coming on Switch.
Oh
I think
damn.
maybe next month or maybe October.
So
I mean,
weird.
you gotta be like fast hands because
It's
That is
very
going to
fast.
be
See,
the
that
biggest
is
issue.
exactly the thing I thought that it's going to be like. I mean, it's hard enough on PC.
yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be some monsters who are able. I cannot, for the life of me, play on those Joy-Cons competitive games. But I'm expecting it's going to be a lot easier on the Elite controller or other ones.
Something
But
like this, right? Like this is
right,
like one of the Nintendo.
right.
Yeah, it's
I think
one.
that's the Elite controller.
I think I don't know. This is the Splatoon edition, so it's kind of
Right.
dusty, but it does. I mean, you can imagine PS4 and Xbox players. They play pretty
Yeah.
fast with the controller.
So
So with this,
I mean,
it should be
I've seen
possible.
people playing Fortnite on mobile phones and still building things like crazy.
Yeah,
So okay, there are always monsters, right?
there
There
are
are
always
always
I
yeah.
people
think
who are
I
just
think
going
it's
to
fair to say that those are the exceptions and not the norm.
nothing exactly. Yeah.
yeah, obviously. But this I see. It seemed weird to me that Apex Legends is coming on Switch because it does not just to me, because I'm not a Switch player. I just know what I can see on YouTube and all. To me, it does
What
not really seem like it
A
just does
Switch
not
game.
Why I'm not surprised because is this generation Switch has focused and doubled down on third
Third
party
party
games
games,
a lot.
yes.
You had a lot of shooters like Doom and all come on Switch and be very successful. So personally, I'm not surprised with this. I am interested to see how its success is gonna be like. I do think there is merit for playing the game in your hand
Yeah,
while
there
being
is, there
plugged
is.
into
I'll
bed.
agree to that. I'll
Yes,
totally agree to that.
so that'll be interesting to see. Yes, thanks for letting me know.
So there.
Anyway,
Okay, I got last game. I just want 1 minute thing to it. Crisis
yeah.
Remastered. Is anyone like looking forward to it?
Can
That's
No.
on
your
Switch as well,
PC
right?
can your PC run Crisis
Yeah, that
Remastered?
is
But
exactly
Switch can
why.
run Crisis now. Rats, we ain't into 2010
Because
anymore.
when I played Crisis, it was quite, it wasn't very old game. It did like take a toll, and I couldn't play it. I played Crisis 2 and 3 very well, but Crisis 1 no.
Yeah,
So
Crisis 3 did take a toll on my GTX 1060 PC. I'm not gonna lie. Like I did want to
and,
replay it, and it did take a toll. I was surprised too.
and I still don't understand why it's coming on, like Epic Store exclusive. So that's it.
I'm not very excited. I'm not excited because when Crisis came out in PC, it was visually one of the best looking things
Yeah, it was.
It
on
was.
PC or on any gaming platform. Crisis Remaster just looks slightly better than that,
But not 2020.
but it doesn't look like anything like from. I mean, we have much better games to look at in
Yeah, we
2020, so
have.
it doesn't impress me in that manner at all. So anyway, I think that's about it.
That's
I would. Oh my god, it's been almost 2 hours since
Yep.
we started.
An
So
hour 55 minutes.
so I think that's about it. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, nice podcast. We'll have to edit a lot of parts where I am hung, but
Aman is like,
but yeah. Anyway, thanks for joining us. See ya, guys. Next podcast. Hopefully, this one comes out by Tuesday. But yeah, see ya. Nice. Bye bye.
Bye.